My name is Louis Cantares, and I'm a senior here at St. Joseph's University, majoring in business intelligence and analytics, pharmaceutical marketing, machine learning, and AI. And I'm also the student associate director for the SJU Community Garden. And today I'll be presenting dashboards that provide insights on the growing capabilities of SJU. So first, a little bit about the SJU Community Garden. The SJU Community Garden is located right next to Marion Hall, between Fine Arts East and Marion Hall. All of our produce is 100% organic and is 100% donated. So we donate to community partners like the Narberth Community Food Bank, Hawk Hub, the Media Food Bank, and more. It's also all student-led with our faculty director, Bill Wolf, and it's all ran thanks to our wonderful volunteers. The garden has been established since 2019, and what a funny coincidence, today is the garden's 4th birthday. So very funny. And since 2019, we have grown and harvested 1,672 pounds of produce. Some key questions we typically get at the community garden are, what are the various types of produce grown and how much of each produce was grown? When does the garden have harvest and how much produce was harvested at each individual harvest? Who does the garden donate their produce to and how much in total have they received? Before going into the dashboards, kind of want to talk a little bit about the data collection and the data cleaning. So after each harvest, we weigh the produce by type with our Cuisine Art kitchen scale. We measure in grams, and since 2019, our faculty director has collected the data in 4 different files, each file for a year. So what I had to do was, I had to data clean by unioning, using VLOOKUPs, kind of formatting everything correctly, fixing any spelling errors. So for example, tomatoes versus tomato, so it would all be registered in the same way. And from there, after the data cleaning and unioning, I ended up forming one big master sheet that is through Google Sheets. So even after graduation, everyone within the garden team has access to it and can continue to add on to it. And after the master sheet, from there I was able to upload it into Tableau. Specifically, I used the 2021.4 version of Tableau since that was capable with Google Sheets. And from there, luckily the dashboard updates once a day automatically. So as soon as either the student associate director, or the garden coordinator, or the faculty director enter in our harvest, they will be able to see it within 24 hours. Now, I thought we can take a look at the dashboard and I can walk you through some examples and how to use it. So first is our year-end visuals in infographic. This was created with the Picture Me extension in Tableau. And with it, you can kind of see our total harvest at the end of 2022. In each year, you can kind of see how much we've grown and harvested by year, and an aesthetically pleasing visual of how much of each produce we've grown. It's very interesting to see kind of how far the garden has come. With 2019, we only started out with 203 pounds of produce. Meanwhile, last year, we had a major jump with 700 pounds of produce. So it's cool to go through each year and see how the garden has grown. And this gets updated once a year at the end of the year. So the next time this will be updated is January 1st, 2024. Now for the garden tracker dashboard. This is live, in which it will update once a day, every day. And with it, you can even see when we had a harvest today, which was very fun. Here you can kind of see, I ended up adding filters, so you can filter by plant, filter by recipient of who received the produce, filter by year, filter by specific date range. And here you can see important KPIs, so you can see like since 2019, we've donated 1,672 pounds of produce. Compared to this day last year, the garden has harvested 14 more pounds of produce, and the amount harvested / donated this year so far is 19 pounds, with our harvest today of 19.4 pounds of produce. And what's interesting is you can filter down by either like plant type, when we had harvest, or who received our produce. So for example, you can click on tomatoes, and it filters down to every single harvest when tomatoes were harvested. And you can also see within this lollipop chart, you can see who has received tomatoes and like how much. So for example, our student-run food bank here at SJU Hawk Hub has received 202.5 pounds of tomatoes from us. What's also really cool is you can filter down by a specific day when we had a harvest. So for example, this high bullet point right here happens to be November 8th, and this was the day when we had our largest harvest ever. And you can kind of filter through, or you can hover over the dot, and you can see on that day we harvested tomatoes, radishes, beets and beet greens, and carrots. And you can see when you click on it, we donated it to Hawk Hub and the Media Food Bank. And what's interesting is if you click on Hawk Hub, you can see what exclusively we donated to them from that harvest. And yeah, some key takeaways from the dashboard is that our grand harvest total since 2019 is 1,672 pounds. Our next takeaway is 42% of the grand total was harvested last year alone, with 700 pounds of produce. Our largest harvest was on November 8th, 2022, with 62.1 pounds, and there's a picture with me with our harvest. The community partner who's received the most produce is the Narberth Community Food Bank, and they've received 833 pounds of produce from us. And the top 3 highest yielding plants are tomatoes with 452.4 pounds of produce, beets and beet greens with 315.4 pounds of produce, and beans with 122.2 pounds of produce. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and feel free to follow follow us, follow the garden for any future events or updates. Thank you for your time, and any questions?
That's a lot of beans.
Hi, I'm Quinn. Great talk. I love the green background, very on brand, and I also love vegetables. So I'm very excited when you show me all the produce and stuff. And I'm wondering if you do donate to the UC campus, because I would like to taste some of the tomatoes.
Yes, absolutely. Through Hawk Hub, we work closely with them. They're one of our second largest donatees. And I know they recently opened a site at the U City campus. So if you were to receive any produce, warranted any produce from them, you could probably luckily visit the U City Hawk Hub campus, which Hawk Hub here will probably transport some of the produce there.
Awesome.
Are you currently looking for volunteers and more help?
Yes, we're always looking for more volunteers. If you scan the email chain QR code, that will redirect you to a Google form where you can sign up for our emails, so you can see anytime when we're having harvest or any future updates. I know next Saturday, May 6th, is the garden's birthday party, when we'll probably be planting new plants, probably like lettuce and such, and maybe even harvesting some more radishes.
I have a question over here. Very nice summary and beautiful dashboards. My question is this: when you look at data like this and you see trends year over year, and you highlight, for example, a significant output of produce last year, can you tell us a little bit about what has gone into the organization of the garden? In other words, has its size expanded? Has the amount of funds provided for seeds and et cetera expanded? What led to your significant growth?
Absolutely. It's a mix of both of funding, awareness, and getting more volunteers. I know with COVID kind of hit us pretty hard, in which we could only limit the amount of volunteers to maybe about like 5 or 10. But now coming out of like COVID, we're able to have more volunteers come to the garden, have it more frequent, and definitely with our summer scholars, they definitely play a huge part, because while most of the students are gone throughout the summer, the garden's still going. But we luckily have summer scholars here to help like maintain the garden, and we're definitely getting like more technical. Right now we have automatic like hosing, in which like the hoses go off like once a day in each of the 4 different beds. So yeah, we're definitely evolving with like more funding, and even just like with more knowledge, like figuring out, because our garden director or our faculty director and our garden coordinators, they look at the tracker year over year to see like when we planted and when we could expect to harvest. So definitely just like knowledge with like year over year, and yeah, more awareness. I think that helps greatly contribute to the success of the garden.
Hi, I have a presentation here. So you said increasing the funding, increasing the size, increasing the output of the produce, right? So I was wondering if you recycle the seeds as well, or you just usually buy the seeds, right? So if you recycle seeds, have you seen any significant changes in the produce? Because I know some fruits, when you use the seeds, right, they change over time.
Sorry, I have a big smile on my face, because that's exactly what we did this year with our radishes. February, we actually like had our first like planting season, and we recycled some of the seeds from our radishes from last year. So this year was like our first time experimenting, and the bed that with like our radishes that we kind of kept from last year, they did the best. So they're the radishes that we ended up harvesting today. So fantastic question, and yes, we do recycle the seeds.
Thank you.